It's showtime, so I think it's time that we call down the start of the show for this review. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Luke Immerse Prime here. So, it's time for a special movie review today where I'm going to be reviewing, of course, what is a film by one of my favourite directors of all time, which is the absolute legend, Tim Burton. This is a gothic, dark fantasy comedy horror film he did, released in 1988. And it's one of my favourite films by him so far that he's done in his career. And this, of course, is none other than 1988's Beetlejuice. So, now, how was this film made then? So, this, of course, was made by Tim Burton after his financial success of his movie debut, which was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And of course, he couldn't get involved at the time of making it because he had other projects to do. But eventually, of course, he went on board to direct this film. And so it took quite a bit of time, of course, to be made. After that, it was released on March 30th, 1988. And when it was released, it was a critical and commercial success, grossing $84 million on a $15 million budget. And it also won the Oscar for Best Makeup and 3 Saturn Awards, being Best Horror Film, Best Makeup, and Best Supporting Actress for Sylvia Sidney, may she rest in peace. And the film's success spawned a franchise, such as, for example, an animated TV series, video games, a 2018 stage musical, and of course, this year, a sequel. So, when it comes to my reaction to this film then, so I remember a very long time ago I saw this film when I was really young, and I gotta say that I definitely really loved this film, and I've rewatched it several times, and I of course have it here as a 4K steelbook, and I've literally just got on rewatching it for this review, and I still love the film to this day, and I consider it to be one of Tim Burton's best films he's done. And he's one of my favourite directors of all time, and a lot of the films I've seen from him I definitely really do love. So what is this movie about then? So, Adam and Barbara are a normal couple who happen to be dead. They have given their precious time to decorate their house and make it their own, but unfortunately, a family is moving in, and not quietly. Adam and Barbara try to scare them out, but end up becoming the main attraction to a money-making family. They call upon Beetlejuice to help, but Beetlejuice has more in mind than just helping. So, now when it comes to what I think is great about this film then, so I think Tim Burton got a really great cast of actors in this film. So, many of them, of course, are frequent collaborators of Tim Burton in his career. So, when it comes, of course, to the star of the show himself, I definitely absolutely loved Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice himself in this film. Michael Keaton definitely played him fantastically, and it's definitely one of his most unique roles I've seen from him, because he's got really great range as an actor, and I think Beetlejuice really is proof of that. He played him really well in this film, made him, of course, like a psychotic character in a way, kind of, and also entertaining at the same time. I think he really pulled it off brilliantly. And he's definitely, in my opinion, one of Keaton's best roles of all time. My favourite role has always been Batman, in the 2 films directed also by Tim Burton, of course. But I think Beetlejuice is probably, for me, his most unique role that he's played, in my opinion, because I think he played him so well in this film. Completely different to other roles he's played, absolutely. And what's also awesome about this film is Michael Keaton himself actually said this is the film he's been in, which is pretty cool. I can definitely see why it's his favourite film he's been in, because the film is amazing. Also, what I think is also mind-blowing about this film is, in this film, even though, of course, Beetlejuice's presence is pretty big in this film, he's only in it for 17.5 minutes. And I gotta say, because of where the film's paced out, in my opinion, it's paced really well, doesn't feel about at all. And because in my opinion, they spread out his scenes really well in this film. His presence is really well felt in this film. And it's mainly thanks to Keaton's fantastic performance that you think he's always there. And he is pretty much, really, because he spread out his scenes really well. Now, when it comes, of course, to this film's main characters, who, of course, become the ghosts in this film, which, of course, is the Maitlands, I definitely loved Geena Davis as Barbara in this. It's definitely one of my favourite roles of Geena. I think she's a great actress, and Barbara's definitely, in my opinion, one of her best roles. My favourite role of hers is Ronnie in the 1986 remake of The Fly, but I think Barbara is also one of her best roles as well, in my opinion. When it comes to Adam in this film, guys, I think he's also a somewhat likeable character as well, but unfortunately, he's played by an actor I lost respect for, which is unfortunately Alec Baldwin. Personally, guys, I am not a fan of him as a person at all, and I just can't stand him at all nowadays. So, for what it's worth, for Adam is somewhat more likeable than he is in real life, I'll say that. When it comes to a family musician as well, I definitely like them as well in this. I definitely love Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dees in this. It's definitely, in my opinion, one of her best roles, in my opinion. I think she played Delia really well in this film, and Catherine O'Hara, in my opinion, is a great actress as well. I also, as well, definitely really love Winona Ryder in this as Lydia Deetz as well, who, of course, is the stepdaughter of Delia and also a daughter of Charles. And I think that she played Lydia really well in this. I think Lydia is probably, for me, a very relatable character as well. And I think Winona Ryder definitely played her really well in this film. It's definitely, in my opinion, one of her best roles as well. Winona Ryder is also, in my opinion, a great actress. When it comes to Charles in this film as well, he's also, in my opinion, a likable character, but also played by an actor that I also am not a fan of course, which is unfortunately Jeffrey Jones. So, yeah, that's definitely an example of an actor in this film who I, of course, no longer like who's in this. But when it comes to characters, they are thought they're worth better than the actor who played them. That's what I'll say. But it's still a bit hard to, of course, watch it when we've got the same face, you know. It's very hard to do that. It's easy said than done to separate art from the actor, you know. It's really hard to do that nowadays, really. I also, as well, definitely loved, as well, Sylvia Sidney in this. As you know, may Sylvia rest in peace. I think Sylvia played her really well in this film, a very interesting character. I also, as well, liked Robert Goulet, may he rest in peace, in this as Maxie Dean. I think he was really good in this. And also, as well, Dick Cavett as Bernard. It's pretty good how of course, the film, of course, have a talk show host Dick Cavett in this, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, I do like that, of course. That's definitely really awesome. And also, as well, Glenn Shaddix as Otho. And may Glenn rest in peace. Yeah, we lost Glenn way too soon. It really sucked, doesn't it? That we lost him way too soon. Rest in peace to him. But I think he played Otho really well in this film. Really well. And there's other good supporting cast members in this too, just to name a few. And when it comes to voice acting territory, I think it's really cool how Tim Burton also got Jack Angel, may Jack rest in peace, as the voice of a preacher who, of course, is in charge of Beetlejuice's wedding to Lydia. In this, he's played physically, of course, by Tony Cox, but Jack Angel did a voice for a preacher, which was, I didn't even realise until I rewatched the film, it was Jack Angel. And I of course, know Jack Angel for his voice work in some things like Transformers, so it's definitely really cool to hear his voice in this, yeah, may Jack rest in peace. As well as, of course, this good cast of characters in this film, I also think the film has a really good story as well. I definitely really like it, how he did that. And I think when it comes to the effects for this film, in my opinion, they're absolutely fantastic and definitely stand the test of time. Because one thing that Tim Burton does use in this film is stop motion. And he uses it for various things, for example, of course, the snake and the sandworms. And they're definitely, in my opinion, really terrifying, I must say. And definitely really help this film have horror elements in it, I must say. And I think the stop motion, in my opinion, was really well done. And of course, later in his career, Tim Burton, of course, used this entirely for, of course, his stop motion animated films, which is definitely really awesome. This one was literally only the beginning for that, really. And I think he did a really great job of it in this film, of course, for stop motion. And yeah, the production design was, in my opinion, absolutely fantastic. And it's because of that I think the film really does hold up really well. Because the beauty, of course, of using practical effects is it can help films age really well. And this is definitely a massive example of that. Because Tim Burton, of course, focused on practical effects. And from what I've heard about the sequel, he also does it for that too, which is definitely really awesome. And of course, I'm going to find out next week when I want to watch a sequel. I also, as well, definitely really love the musical score in this, composed by Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, of course, is Tim Burton's most frequent collaborator of all time because he's composed for nearly all of his films. And I think his music in this film is absolutely fantastic to listen to. Especially the film's main theme for Beetlejuice. In my opinion, it's really iconic and memorable to listen to. Danny Elfman, in my opinion, is a phenomenal composer, one of the greats, in my opinion. I personally think that Tim Burton's films would not be as iconic as they are without Danny Elfman's music. And this is definitely a massive example of that, because I think his music in this made the film so amazing, absolutely. Yeah, Danny Elfman absolutely nailed it with the soundtrack for this film, like he's done for Tim Burton's other films too. He's an amazing composer. But yeah, Tim Burton's films would not be the same without Danny Elfman's music. Speaking of the music in this, I also love how this also features songs from albums Calypso and Jump Up Calypso by the singer Harry Belafonte, may he rest in peace. And I love how, of course, the end of the film features the song Jump in Line, which is a great song. And there's also the Day or the Banana Boat song as well, also a great song. Yeah, I think Tim Burton definitely did really well using, of course, the music in this, because, of course, not only did you have of course, Danny Elfman composing the music, but also, as well, Harry Belafonte's music, which is definitely a really awesome combination, I must say, for this. And it fitted really well for a horror film, I must say. Really well. And it's definitely incredible how this film used a $15 million budget, but you know, was so great when it comes to its effects. It's just fantastic, in my opinion, how well it holds up, considering it had a low budget, you know, only $15 million. And I also think the film is also really well paced because the film has a runtime of only 92 minutes, but in my opinion, it's paced really well and it doesn't get boring or rushed or anything like that. In my opinion, it's paced just right, in my opinion, for that. And it has its fair share of funny moments too, because as well as, of course, a few jump scares here and there, it does have its fair share of funny moments. So, Beetlejuice, for example, of course, while he might be a bit of a psychotic character, he's also, in my opinion, really funny and definitely great to watch, thanks to Michael Keaton's absolutely entertaining performance as him. There's also the dinner party scene, which in my opinion is absolutely hilarious, mainly because of Dealey doing that singing. Like, that was just so hilarious, and I still get a laugh at it to this day. And it also ends the film on a good note as well, because after, of course, Beetlejuice is defeated by being devoured by a sandworm, which saves Lydia from having to become his wife after she makes a deal with him to save the Maitlands. The Maitlands are indeed, of course, make amends, and they agree to share the house. And Lydia, of course, becomes confident and comfortable around others when it comes to making social interactions. So that's why I think she's a relatable character to those who have issues with that sort of thing, really. That's why I think she's probably this one's most relatable of the characters, absolutely, because of that. And it also has a funny ending for Beetlejuice as well, where he's, of course, impatiently waiting in the afterlife room and stealing the witch doctor's number. But it, of course, causes the demon's head to shrink in retaliation, which was really funny ending, I must say, of course. And it ends, of course, on an open note for more to come, really, and that, of course, spawned this whole franchise, really. So I definitely really like, of course, how it ended on a note where, of course, it could lead to more to come, and that certainly was the case later on down the line. So that's, of course, my thoughts on Beetlejuice, guys. In my opinion, it's a fantastic film. One of Tim Burton's greats, in my opinion. The only bad quality I have of this film is, of course, unfortunately, the presence of actors I no longer like, of course, being Alec Baldwin and Jeffrey Jones. But other than that, the film, in my opinion, is absolutely fantastic. Holds up phenomenally thanks to a great practical effects, and despite on a low budget, it holds up phenomenally because of that. With a great cast of actors in this, with great characters who are likeable and memorable, and an amazing soundtrack by Danny Elfman. Just what you need in a Tim Burton film, absolutely. So, thanks to the success of this film, it's of course spawned a great franchise because we of course got a series, which I do plan to check out one day, see what I think about. I heard good things about that show. And there's also several games down the line. And speaking of games as well, Beetlejuice also ended up appearing in LEGO Dimensions Year 2, which is really awesome. I still have my figure of Beetlejuice somewhere for that game. And I played as him in that. He was definitely, in my opinion, awesome character in that game, absolutely. And of course, this year, we got a sequel. And I've heard really good things about the sequel too, and I was definitely really impressed with the trailers. So, I'm definitely interested to see the sequel next week. So, next week's review is going to be, of course, me reviewing the sequel, of course, which I'm going to be checking out, of course. I'm very excited to do that, because I've heard good things about the sequel. So, when it comes to this film, though, if I was to give this film a score out of 10, because of the bad quality I have, of course, actors in this film that I no longer like, I would give this film, for me, a very solid score of 9.5 out of 10. Definitely one of the greats by Tim Burton, absolutely. One of the best of the best, absolutely. So, this is me doing my review for 1988's Beetlejuice. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to look in the comments what you guys think of Beetlejuice. You say leaving in the comments below. Also, be sure to join Team Fan by pressing subscribe. Moves come in the future. And I'll see you all later.